This is a Lip Media podcast.
Hello, Lamely. It's time for another bonus of the bonuses as we careen towards reading our first chapter here at Me, I Am a Memoir, the meaning of Mariah Carey. This is Fab, the fabulous Adam Richard. Joining me, as always, is the delightful Posh Phillip Lee Curtis. How are you? Delicious?
I'm great. How are you?
I am wonderful. Let's barrel on through because it's big in Mariah world this week, is it not?
Every week is larger than life in Mariah's world. Even the weeks that aren't are.
I know. She must be exhausted with herself. All right.
I know.
It's time for another bonus Me moments.
Me moments. So I am very excited to say that we have a number one best-selling book on our hands.
Woo! We didn't even have anything to do with it because we haven't even read it yet.
No, but I do like to think that me stating this in the podcast promo, that it was the soon-to-be best-selling book of all time, we're on our way.
Yeah.
Put it out into the universe.
It's the first step towards becoming as big as the Bible.
Yeah. Probably bigger, bigger hair at the very least.
Does
the Bible have intermingling hair? I don't think so.
It does not have intermingling hair between the back and front covers. You're correct.
So that is very exciting. There's specific things on, it's the print number one, it's the Audible number one, it's just all of the number ones.
It's all the number ones.
Even on the list that it's not eligible for, it is number one.
Yeah. It's, even on the Billboard Hot 100, it's number one.
And another exciting thing for the Lamely is that it is Rainbow Week. So everyone was a little nervous that maybe, the remix EPs and the remasters were done. MC30 was done because of the book and everything else.
Yes.
But no, she has returned. We had a brief hiatus. And now she's hitting us with some Heartbreaker.
Oh, and look, I have to say, I was on her Instagram stories this week, which is
really?
just...
No way.
I know. Which is just, just lists of songs that you can now get out there in the world that, used to be things that you had to chase down. Because that was the period when Mariah, the Rainbow era, because it was like towards the end of her deal with Sony, and they wanted rid of her, she wanted rid of them. So it was hard to find stuff from that album, like out in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
But I do have Can't Take That Away, Mariah's theme in brackets.
Every time.
On vinyl, which is one of my favorite things. So to be able to just click and play that song down is heaven.
Yes. And I think it's put some lambs' minds at ease that this is still happening. I don't know how far she'll go because obviously once we get into the 2000s, the videos are probably already HD. I haven't actually gone to check, but most things from about Emancipation onwards would most likely be that. So maybe she'll make it 4K or something. Maybe she'll make up a new one like 12K for anniversaries.
But one of the things is like a lot of those remixes haven't been available. Like they're certainly not, like now that Google Play Music, which is what I used to use, has been discontinued and you have to go on the YouTube. So like all of that being available on YouTube and various streaming services is very exciting because it's like, now I've got to dig at that. Did I ever digitize that CD? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Did I rip that one?
I know. Speaking of the YouTubes, I did click on the link to Live in the Tokyo Dome to watch it and it is now gone.
Oh.
So we've missed our moment. I know it's still available on a Blu-ray in Japan, so we will figure it out.
I watched a couple because I was just because I was listening on the YouTube music, a couple of the tracks just popped up with the video instead of just, the picture of her head from the rarities. And let me tell you, you can tell that it was the days of Mariah not being allowed to wear anything, because she opens the concert wearing a full-length Matrix jacket. And full-length pants and a jumper that goes right up to her chin.
Yeah.
And
was this around 96?
Yeah, I'm like,
What is it,
hey,
roughly?
lady, what? Is it freezing in Tokyo today?
I do always think it's funny watching, because big surprise, I watched Charmed. In the first season, they're all covered head to toe because it was 1998 and there was no skin allowed yet. But sort of 99, 2000, season 2, it's bras.
Yeah. Bras.
Or no bras, a different top, but no bra underneath it. So I always love watching that transformation. I'm like, why do they look like they're in their 40s in season 1, but now they're 19? I don't understand. And Mariah went through a similar phase. I'm 900 years old now. I'm 19. Perfect.
Well, the Heartbreaker video was, I think, the first time we got a real eyeful of Mariah.
Yes. An Eiffel Tower, if you will.
In her crocheted bikini. I was like, whoa! You've been hiding that light under a bushel.
And we got to see Mariah beat up Bianca and vice versa. And that's just heaven. That's probably one of my favorite videos, let's be real.
It's a very good video.
Now, we had another little appearance of Mariah on Watch What Happens Live. I managed to track down a couple of clips. Because we're in Australia, we don't get to see everything.
Yes.
And, a lot of it was the usual stuff that she's already kind of talked about. Some of the stuff is already in the book.
And there was a lot of Andy Cohen big-upping himself about having published it.
I know.
It's like,
Andy
mate,
loves
talking
little
about
Andy. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. But the one thing that did get me even more excited for the book was actually, again, the talk around Loverboy and how, for the first time, Mariah was saying in this interview how much that debacle affected her. She kind of got serious there for a minute. I was like, oh, okay, there's some stuff going on. So I'm very excited, even more so, to get to that chapter. And I was like, okay, now I can see why. Because there was... the reason I was thinking that was the next thing we're going to discuss is the Guardian interview. And I believe in that one, she was talking about Tommy Mottola saying, I like to just lead with forgiveness. And I'm like, yet you cannot say the words Jennifer Lopez.
I don't know.
You can't do it. You cannot do it. And I was like, whoa. But then seeing that, I was like, okay, so maybe it did affect her a lot. And that's where that has come from.
I don't know her. Who are you talking about?
Sorry, yes. Embarrassing. I meant to say Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, yes. I like Jennifer Aniston.
She was in Friends.
I enjoyed the morning show.
Yeah, she was nice to me once. She told me she loved me, so I like her. That's the prerequisite. Now, probably the most... there's... every week there's many exciting things, but one of the more sort of in-depth exciting things was the Guardian interview.
Yes.
Did you get to have a little read?
I poked my nose in.
Sure. Yeah. A little squiz.
I'm wary of reading too much because I don't want to get the book and be like, oh yeah, I read that. Oh, I've read that. Oh, that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that again.
So I'm kind of I'm skimming things, if that makes sense.
I feel like probably of most things, the Guardian interview had the least spoilers.
Yeah.
It didn't go too specifically into chapters. I may be forgetting it because, I read it at 2 a.m. But
I love your work ethic.
I know. I pulled out a couple of little, moments from the interview. And just for us to have a little discuss.
Excellent.
Now, the first kind of paragraph basically talks about Mariah saying, do not book interviews at 6 a.m. Because this was... happening at 6 a.m. But the problem was Mariah was the one who said, let's do it at 6 a.m. So she's kind of she's mad at everyone, including herself, but she can't be mad at herself.
Yes.
So
it's her assistant's fault.
So it's, yes. No interviews at 6 a.m. One of my favorite quotes was when asked about lockdown. Mariah said, honestly, I don't miss anyone outside, so I don't care about lockdown. Which is just more evidence that I am Mariah Carey.
I do love her just going, oh, look, I might be privileged, but Does anyone else care?
One thing that has me a little concerned is Mariah has been talking about, now that the book's out,
Yes.
any questions that come to her, she could just say, go to page 29, go to page 113.
Go to the book. I didn't write the book, so I had to talk about it now.
Right? So she's kind of saying, I might not need to do this kind of thing again, like the interviews and stuff. So is this the end of the Mariah interview?
Well, I think, reading between the lines, I think it might be, I won't need to do this stuff again at 6 a.m.
Sure. At a time that I pick.
And also, she'll have more albums coming out. She's not going to stop performing. She's not going to stop recording. And all those things need to be publicized. But what she will be able to do, because she's a superstar with 30 years under her belt, amazing for a woman who's not even 29 yet.
Crazy. Wasn't born when it all started.
Time-traveling Mariah. But
she has her jokes, doesn't she? One is that she's not born yet.
But I reckon what she'll be able to do is go, won't be talking about this, or this. So
Sure. It'll just be, it's this album. Let's talk about this album. Any other questions? It's like, we'll refer to this page.
Whereas this is like, I'm flogging my book. I've got to, I'll talk about anything because...
Yeah, I want that #1 bestseller.
Yeah,
So.
but I reckon she'll be able to go, if you want to talk about the album, you don't get to ask me about that or the other thing. There's a whole book about it, darling.
I did. That was a bit Eartha Kitt. I did find at some stage, because often when I'm doing the research, I'll just find some other interview. And there was one where Mariah's assistant had said, do not ask her about ABC.
Yes.
But Mariah's quite chatty. So she's quite happy to keep talking. But then she'll be like, stop asking me. But then she'll answer everything. Yeah. And it was basically the interview going, well, I wasn't meant to ask, but she just keeps replying. So I'll just keep going.
I had that once. Oh, man. I put the top down. I'm making sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm ready. I've got my Depends on.
So I had an interview booked with Giselle Bundchen, or Giselle Bundchen Undies, as I used to call her. And there was a big, no personal questions. And it's like, so what am I meant to talk to Giselle about? Her thongs. She was out promoting a line of thongs.
In sandals or underwear?
Yeah. Flip-flops, Havianas. She was a spokesperson for Havianas. The Giselle line was being exclusively promoted by some...
What a sad thing to do.
Oh, look. It was...
don't
she's
get me wrong.
a model. That's what they do.
I love a thong. I love a Haviana.
I know,
Haviana Grande.
Flogging a $20 thong.
Oh, yeah.
And
they were a supermodel.
And this was before the Haviana dispenser machines. Have you seen those? There's...
No.
Maybe it's just a Sydney beachside thing. But there's there's a vending machine for Havianas. You put your $20 in and out comes a pair of thongs.
You know what? That's useful. I could use that.
Anyway, so they were being sold exclusively through one particular shoe chain. And the PR woman from the shoe chain was like, you can't talk about this and you can't talk about that. And I'm like, yeah, all right. And so this is my way around it, is I was like, so how do you feel when you hear things about yourself? Rather than going, what about this? I'm like, how do you feel when you hear things about yourself? The fact that you sent a gift package to the woman who your current boyfriend had got knocked up before he started going out with you. Because Tom Brady's ex was pregnant, and he left her for Giselle, and then they had a kid not long after.
Heterosexuals are crazy.
I know, that's not. And and this, you could hear, in the interview, you could just hear that PR woman going, no, Adam, no, I told you, no. And Giselle just reached across and go, no, I want to answer this.
Yeah.
It's like, woo! Because I framed it as, even though... technically in the story, she's a homewrecker. I'd framed it as how do you feel when you read things like that?
Yeah.
And
I always say a lot of our, people in the arts, in the creative area, in the media, it's just manipulation.
Yeah.
You've just got to find the right angle to get the right information out of someone.
if you make it sound like it's all about them and they're in the right,
Yeah.
people will talk to you about anything.
Yeah. This is interesting.
So yeah, that's Mariah. Mariah will talk about, and the reason her people say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about that." She doesn't want to talk about. It's probably because when the interview is being booked, Mariah's gone, I can't be bothered to talk about all this. That's all anyone seems to ask me at the moment, so that's off limits. And then she gets to the interview, she's like, "Oh no, I've changed my mind now because she's Mariah. She can."
Yeah. What am I doing? What I want. Now, one of the juiciest Mariah morsels from
Mariah
The Guardian.
morsels. That should be a little interruptive.
I was just thinking that, yeah. Mariah morsels. There's already one with that melody. It's fine. Now, it was around James Packer, who does not appear in the book.
Well, he obviously doesn't pertain to the meaning of Mariah Carey.
No, exactly. So the quote, I'm going to read the quotes verbatim. I don't know if that's how you say it, but whatever. The first one was, if it was a relationship that mattered, it's in the book. If not, it didn't occur. Oh. So that was burn number one. And then the conversation kind of went on. And then this is the longer quote. We didn't have a physical relationship, to be honest with you. So confirmation that James did not pack up. That's terrible, but I've been sitting on it for a week.
It's a pun.
No packing for James. And, he's Aussie. He'll probably be listening
and not
to
caring.
our podcast
Also,
and not
he's
caring.
Loaded.
I love that in one of the articles written about it, it went straight on to saying that he's on certain medications that make him very forgetful.
Well, yes.
So
I think, she was dating him through the whole reality TV show thing, which apparently also does not appear in the book. I get the impression the book is more about dealing with her demons from before. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's holding on to some later life information for another book. You don't put out a book and then go, yeah, that's it. I'm only writing one book.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you got to hold some stuff in. It's like, got to hold back that James Packer stuff. But yeah, I got the impression when that reality show ended up not being very good and no one liked it, and then they broke up, I was like, oh, this has been entirely like Kim Kardashian's wedding that was, annulled within 7 minutes of it not being on air anymore. You're like, well, it's reality TV. Like, producers go, what about that rich Australian guy? Do you think he'd want to be in the show? She's like, all right, I'll go and ask him.
Well, yeah. I don't have to be photographed with him, do I?
Yeah, all right. I'll get him to buy me some jewellery.
Yeah. Do I get a 50 million divorce settlement or whatever it was? So that was very interesting. But the other thing that was just a bit of fun was they asked Mariah about being high maintenance. Now, this is the longer quote that I wrote down just because I want to give it its full breadth.
Yes.
You know what? I don't give a shit. I fucking am high maintenance because I deserve to be at this point. That may sound arrogant, but I hope you frame it within the context of coming from nothing. If I can't be high maintenance after working my ass off my entire life, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we all had to be low maintenance. Hell no. I was always high maintenance. It's just I didn't have anyone to do the maintenance when I was growing up.
Oh, that's
now.
mean.
Firstly, where's my Oscar? But no, I agree. I was like, yeah, I was always high maintenance. It's just there was no one around to maintain me.
Yeah, there's just no one paying attention to me. And now, now they are. And I continue to be high maintenance. I did love when she tweeted out that interview just going, oh, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag now. I'm high maintenance.
Yeah.
Like implying,
gasp.
We know.
Yeah.
I never pretended not to be.
No, exactly. And that's, again, what I love about Mariah's sense of humor is it's like, it's all playing dumb, but she knows everything that's happening.
Yeah. But
she's in on the joke.
Kind of counter to that is the idea that, everyone who's been who's been told, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, you've got to do this in an interview. Everyone I've spoken to who's interviewed her has always gone, oh, she's talk about anything. She's heaven.
Yeah.
She's blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, I think she's just pretending to be high maintenance because it's funny.
Yeah, well, exactly. Again, it's the side of the face joke.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm just going to take this all the way to the end.
Yes.
And I know that years ago, around the glitter time, before the incident that happens in the book, her last interview was on Rove here in Australia.
Yeah.
And really, if you watch that interview, she was just having some fun. She was just kind of being herself. And you could tell that it was the people behind the scenes going, don't say that, don't do that.
Yeah.
And she was just, kind of getting over it. And going, well, okay, I'm just going to sit here and I'm not going to say anything. And everything's fine. And then everyone sees that as, oh my God, Mariah's falling apart. And it's like, no, actually, that's just her going, oh my God, you don't know that I've got 25 people going, no, Mariah, don't you dare have a personality. Just sit there and smile.
Yeah.
The last few little things. One, I just wanted to point out that I realised after our last episode and talking about Lullaby of Birdland.
Yes.
At the concert I went to in 2014, Mariah sang it.
Yeah, of course
in
she
Melbourne.
did. That was so fun.
I didn't realise.
Yeah, it's on the
'cause she
YouTube from Melbourne.
Yeah, but it was on select, only select dates that she did it at. So I went through the full, because she did One Sweet Day in Melbourne, but didn't do that anywhere else. So there was she, mixes and matches, which is heaven. But then all of a sudden the memories came flooding back. I was like, I remember that. Again, that was great. But there was just so much happening that I think I just lost my mind. So it wasn't until the rarities came out. I was like, that's right. But something very exciting that the lambs are starting to froth over a little.
I love.
Is a teaser for something Christmas related. We've got 3 directors' chairs.
Yes.
One with AG, one with MC,
Yes.
and one
Yes.
with JH.
Yes.
Now, a lot of fans are speculating that this is a new song, a new duet. But I was thinking, is this for the Christmas special on Apple Plus?
Oh, the Apple Plus Christmas special. Yes.
Because my thinking was, perhaps, could AG be Ariana Grande, but it's not actually Ariana Grande, it's just a puppet. Is that the puppet
the famous puppet.
that Mariah has been teasing since the Vulture interview?
It could be. Yes. Yes.
And of course, people saying JH is most likely Jennifer Hudson, but it could be Jennifer Love Hewitt, just getting rid of the love.
JLH, yes.
Yeah.
J-Lo
I can't think of anyone.
as I used to refer to her.
Yeah.
J-Lo.
I can't think of anyone else who would be JH. Can you think of?
Well, the suggestions online that it's she's doing a gig with Andrew Garfield and Jonah Hill.
Yes. Yes. I'm here for that.
I remember once watching, was it a Cher special or was it a
I'm sure it was.
Dolly special? I forget who was singing. Anyway, they had, I think it was Dolly, and she had Cher and Diana Ross, who neither of whom were actually there. They were drag queens.
Perfect.
And I was like, cool, mate. So maybe it's, although this is the thing with Mariah. If they were not the actual people, would Mariah insist on a bigger chair?
No, I'm going to say no, because Mariah is a skinny legend and she wants to look as petite as possible. So if anything, she'd have a smaller chair.
No, but I just meant a more...
Grand.
yeah.
Like a throne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Just a chair of more stature.
Sure,
Just up
yeah.
on blocks. Look, I mean, the Ariana Grande thing is interesting because I think Mariah has not known her until now.
No, so this is what seems to have happened. This is what I've decided has happened.
Yes.
Because I did see an interview with Nick Cannon where he said apparently he had something to do with Ariana when she was Nickelodeon or
Yes.
whatever. And
She on
he showed
Victorious?
Mariah... Sure. I don't know. Is that the one with Britney Spears' sister? The Wizards? I don't know.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
I only know Clarissa Explains It All because of Melissa Joan Hart.
Who was Sabrina? Yeah.
Yes. I've decided we should have a podcast called Me, I Am Conservative. But no, Nick Cannon did an interview where he said he actually played Ariana for Mariah, like an early performance, and Mariah was like, "Oh yeah, cool, like great, that was good."
Yeah.
But then things started, bubbling up as, she's gonna be the next Mariah.
Yes, which is
so
difficult for
was
someone
like,
who is still having a career to hear.
Yes, and even someone, even if she wasn't, it would still be like, well, I'm still Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
So that's the back got up a little bit.
Yes.
And she was like, no, I'm still. And then, of course, from then
It's
on,
how I
every
feel
media,
about Joel Gracie, to be honest.
I don't know her. Now, oh God, I'm off. No. So then all of the interviewers started doing the whole, oh my God, Mariah, have you heard of Ariana Grande? She's being said to be the next Mariah. And look, you should sit here for 3.5 minutes and watch her sing one of your songs in terrible, like not a terrible performance, but terrible footage.
Yes.
Like, not very well. So Mariah awkwardly sat there. And I think this happened for a while. Similar to the Kylie always being asked about being turned 50. You just eventually get sick of it.
Yeah.
So I think it was more a response to, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm being erased, rather than Ariana herself.
Yeah.
But as time went on and Ariana was often just, I think, tweeting and talking about her love of
For
Mariah.
Mariah.
And maybe, without getting too serious, some of this, the issue, not the issue, but the awful thing that happened in, was it Manchester?
Yeah.
At the Ariana concert. That probably showed to Mariah, like, this is a real person. This is a real artist who cares for her fans. And Mariah probably had a similar thing. Well, I get that.
Yeah.
And that would be horrible. And it was horrible. So I think perhaps, some humanity started to slip into
Also, maybe
that.
she's having the same experience that Whitney Houston had when Mariah became the next big thing. And, what is one of Mariah's biggest songs? When You Believe, which she sang with Whitney at the Oscars, and it was radiant.
So radiant. And they sang and they sang and they sang.
And they just
and
kept
sang
singing.
some
Like,
more.
the
They
song
sang.
stopped, and they kept going.
They kept going. And then after it was,
They would not let go.
they stopped going and then they kept going again.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite performances of all time. And just when they come across and it's like, I'll touch fingers. There we go. That's enough contact.
Yeah, went up.
But it would have been the same kind of situation. So maybe Mariah just had that moment of going, well, you know what? People kind of accepted me a lot more and were kind of, I guess, went, oh, they can be two different people.
Yeah.
And so it is
When you believe.
When you believe.
There can be miracles when you
What if
believe.
that's what they sing? All three of them.
With festive bells in the background.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's a
But I
Jesus
also
song.
think-
It's technically Christmas.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with Mariah, respect is a big deal.
Yeah.
So she probably felt a bit disrespected, but all of it, as time went on and Ariana proved that she was a real lamb.
Yeah.
And that she genuinely was a fan of hers and showed her the respect that Mariah, of course, believes, and we all believe that Mariah deserves. Again, that perhaps made her look at it in a different light.
And what about J Hud? Like, we're talking about a woman who managed to win an Oscar for singing a song in a not very good movie.
I love J Hud. She's one of those people that you just see her and hear and you go, oh, heaven. Like,
When I went to see the weird levitating cats,
which I haven't seen. So,
oh my God, sometimes they don't touch the ground. It's like, well, you've forgotten to CGI the feet onto the floor. But the director obviously has gone, oh, this is a hot mess. You know what? As soon as J Hud starts singing Memory, everyone will forget that it's a hot mess, just like Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
And go, oh, this is the best movie ever made. And it
look at it
almost
go.
happens twice because they split the song in half and she has to sing it half at the start and half at the end. I'm like,
oh my God, really? Oh,
I know, it's terrible. Also, talk about terrible direction. Like, if the lyric of a song in a musical has like kind of a beautiful illusion in it, like in Memory, it's like the withered leaves collect at my feet. Like, we can see that with our mind's eye when you're singing.
Yeah.
You don't need to film some withered leaves collecting at her feet while she's singing it. It's not...
just like blue tacked to her shoes.
Like, seriously, it's like, oh no.
Well, as she floats off the ground.
Don't show me the leaves. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it's worth the price of admission just to get the J Hud bits of that movie. Like
heaven,
she's so good. Also, did you see her in the live Hairspray?
No, was it good?
Oh Lord.
Amazing. Who did she play?
She was at the record shop.
I don't remember.
All
I remember
the record
is
shop she's Queen Latifah.
Oh, I love Queen Latifah. Okay. One of my favorite movies of all time is Bringing Down the House. So I'm on board with Queen Latifah. At the end of the podcast, baby. Almost there, almost home. You could probably say, but you won't because of copyright. That's a no-no. I think that does bring us to the end of Me Moments for this week.
Yes.
But I am excited to say to people, for people who are starting to listen, and now that we've got 14,000 episodes already online, I should point out that this is actually not what the podcast will end up being. This is just a section.
The podcast will be 4 hours every week.
No, I think we will, as we get into the book, we will shorten Me Moments to more,
Yes, I will drop fewer names because I have fewer to drop. But as we've seen this week, I've still got plenty in my arsenal.
Yeah, we've got fun. Yeah. There is so much in Adam's arsenal. You have no idea.
Oh my God. Up to Pussy's bone.
But yes, we have more. So far, you've heard some me moments and some breaking me on down.
Yes.
But we've got all sorts of stuff, all sorts of exciting interludes to come. So don't you worry. Oh my God. All right. I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, thank you, Posh. It has been a delight, as always. So November 9 will be our first chapter
so soon.
On our weekly escapades through the meaning of Mariah Carey, as we find out what the meaning is of the meaning of Mariah Carey.
the meaning of the meaning.
Don't forget, you can get us online. I am a memoir on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or email us, I am a memoir@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you and however you feel. And if you want me to stop dropping names, please let me know, because I need some sort of intervention.
Drop them straight out of your arsenal. Lordy. Okay.
All right, Lamely, we'll see you soon.
Bye, Lamely.